Hi everyone, good morning. Thanks for joining us at 9:30 in the morning. Very difficult to talk about how to manage your money and live well for less. So, introducing your speakers today, I'm Niamh McCrossan, Vice President Welfare at the Students Association. My pronouns are she, her. So, my role in welfare, I'm elected full-time officer throughout the entire year. I'm in charge of equality, diversity, inclusion, and also looking after people's mental, physical, financial, sexual, emotional health. Greta is unable to join us this morning, but we do have Jin, the manager of the Advice Place, standing in for Greta and will be answering any questions that you may have at the very end of the session. So this session will cover managing your money, so where to shop in Edinburgh, job hunting and working for the Students Association, and then going on to loans, grants and bursaries. This will be a 15-minute session and then we'll have a 15-minute Q&A at the end if anyone has any questions. So managing your money. When starting university, I'm sure you realise that it's really important to create budgets, especially looking at fixed living costs, including accommodation, other bills such as heating, electricity, internet. Many of these will be built into university accommodation and some student housing. But quite often, if you're moving into private leases in Edinburgh, they're not forthcoming with this information. So you might have to do a little bit of digging to figure out who your provider is and get set up that way to make sure that you are paying your bills appropriately. Other costs may include household supplies that will have been split with flatmates, etc., and mobile bills for those who don't live in the UK. You can set up a pay-as-you-go phone or contract that goes across 12 to 24 months. Non-essential costs include TV licenses. So if you have a TV in your property and you watch satellite television on it, you would need to get a TV license. But don't worry if you're only streaming Netflix or playing Xbox, then you don't need to get a TV license. Travel cards like bus passes and Just Eat cycle memberships. But please note that you do get student discount on these services, and the student discount has been stepped up and spread out due to COVID and difficulties with public transport. So please make sure that you check out all of our relevant websites on travel to make sure that you're getting the best on your discount. Insurance costs and potential council tax bills, but please note that you are exempt from paying council tax bills if you're a full-time student. You just have to remember to apply for your exemption. So regarding managing your money, let me just stick to the next slide. So my student budget planner has some really good resources on their website. It's really important to make a spreadsheet showing your weekly, monthly incomes. So if you split it up maybe over the 9 months that you would be a student or the 12 months that you would be in Edinburgh potentially for the whole year. So just remember to relevantly divide it by 9 or divide it by 12 to work out your monthly expenditure. The most important thing to remember here, of course, is that you don't want your spending to be higher than your money coming in. So just to make sure that that total remaining is in a positive, or else you can spiral into some difficult situations. So saving money on food. This is kind of relevant to those who have not been within the UK, even for some years. So a survey compared 108 products from grocery stores and household aisles to see how much a trolley full would be at each of our major supermarkets. So according to which the cheapest supermarket in the country is Aldi, where 108 items cost £11. Obviously, Lidl is a pretty good competitor at 113. Asda 123, Tesco 140, and Sainsbury's and Waitrose would be on the more expensive side at 144 and 175. So this is kind of done using items like their own brand yogurt, vegetables, popular items such as shampoo and spreads. So some tips coming from the Advice Place in order to make sure that you are being your most effective and efficient with your budget. Plan your meals in advance. Buy only the ingredients that you need for these meals to reduce waste. Less trips to the shop means less temptation. Budget in some treats like occasional takeaways because you will inevitably get them, and if you don't factor them in, then that'll just push you down on your budget for the month. If you do order food, split the delivery cost, and always look out for the deals on apps such as Deliveroo or Just Eat. Cooking with your flatmates is the cheapest way to kind of get the most for your money, you know, and there's going to be less waste there, less effort for everyone, but and decreases the fact that you won't buy that you'll be buying in bulk. But just remember to split the cost with your flatmates. There's brilliant apps out there like Splitwise where you can have everyone registered on it. And then you just put the cost in and it all comes off automatically to the bill and you know exactly who owes who what. Shop for discounted food in the supermarkets in the evening. So I'm sure some of you will know at about 5, 6, or 7 p.m. in big supermarkets, they'll discount food that's going on a date to 50 or 75% discount. So this means that you can buy it right before your tea, cook it fresh, or put it in the freezer, and that will save you a lot of money, maybe 50% discount. And if you do decide to eat out, remember to look for student discount or pre-theatre menus around 6 p.m. They often do pre-theatre menus for 2 courses or 3 courses for 10 to 20 pounds. So remember to look out for them. It is such a student heavy city, so there are a lot of student discount places. So here's a map of some of the supermarkets that you may be visiting. So the square on the left is the George Square campus at the George Square Gardens there. So this is the College of Arts, Humanities, and Social Sciences would kind of be there. So just looking to the road running on the right, we have lots of our major retailers there. So we have Sainsbury's, Lidl, Tesco, lots of Asian food stores, but also our public halls of residence, which a lot of our students reside in, is just at the south there. So depending on how far you're willing to walk up, you can save a lot of money if you walk that little bit extra instead of going to the first Sainsbury's that you hit. So just worth taking in mind that if you do make that little extra journey, you may save a lot of money. Also, those who will be studying at King's Building, so that is science and engineering. There is Cameron Toll, which is down close beside that, and they have a massive Sainsbury's. It's kind of like a shopping centre with clothes stores, food stores, and although they have a massive Sainsbury's, as we learned previously, Sainsbury's is that little bit more expensive, and they do also have an Aldi in there. And Aldi was the cheapest on that which comparison. So if you are willing to make that journey down to Cameron Toll, you could save a lot more money. So finding a job in Edinburgh. There are lots of websites you can find a job within Scotland. So you can look at indeed.com, you can look at s1.com. Often cafes and bars will advertise in their windows, or you can look for some companies that will like lease you out as a worker on a 0-hour contract, working events, although events might be happening in the same kind of style this year. Working for the Students' Association, so we have a number of roles available in our commercial side. So we have retail, bars, venue operations, but we also have office-based work, and a lot of these roles are actually 0-hour contracts. So you can work like you make your own schedule, you put it on our partnering website called Staff Savvy, and you'll put in your availability, the max shifts that you want to work, the maximum hours that you want to work, and then everything will be allocated automatically through that. So it means that you're able to take the time off over Christmas if you'd like. You can reduce your hours working over your exam period, because naturally other people won't have the same exams as you. They might be off and they might want an increase of hours. So it's a very flexible working condition, and all the roles are advertised throughout the year on the link provided there, usa.ed.ac.uk/jobs. We're actually currently hiring at the minute as well. Naturally, at the start of the year, we lose a lot of staff who have graduated and move on. Also, working for the university is an option too. So this would be the link at the top of the page, the university's career hub. So not only do they have internships, unpaid internships, paid internships with the university, but they also are able to facilitate external internships where the university will pay some of your wage and the company will pay some of your wage. So quite often it could be in third sector work, or it could be working with the likes of banks across the city. So they also have seasonal staff for events such as Welcome Week or Open Days, queue marshals, and then they're always advertised on the Career Hub. So lots of different types of jobs on that Career Hub. And always remember that the Advice Place is available to all students at the University of Edinburgh, and they have specialist staff that can advise you on your employment rights. And the Student Immigration Service can advise you on your right to work. So, top 10 tips to manage your money. Please don't forget to apply for your council tax exemption. You will get you can do it online. You fill in your student number, the details of everyone that you're sharing your house with, and also you may get a letter through the door with something scary saying that you owe £1,000 or something, and all you have to do is contact the offices or phone them up, send them an email, and if you are a full-time student, you will get exempt. So please don't worry. Check out you're on the right tax code if you have a part-time job. So you normally shouldn't be paying tax on any earnings below £12,000. Make sure that you get a 0% student overdraft. So often big banks will offer you £1,000, £1,500 or £2,000 free overdraft. Find the cheapest mobile phone contract. There are lots of websites out there that do automatic comparisons for you. Compare and don't be afraid to switch your gas and electricity providers to save your bills. Quite often they will give you a signing bonus of £50, £100 or vouchers. So make sure that you shop around before you commit to any gas and electric providers. Don't buy new books. Most of our textbooks are available online from the library. Make a meal plan and cook with friends from scratch wherever you can. Find the discounted supermarkets, check your student discounts and buy secondhand from charity shops, eBay and Gumtree. On the street that I had pointed out previously, on Clerk Street, there is about 10 charity shops, so we're very lucky within Edinburgh. You can also get your equipment to kit out your flat there as well, so they do a lot of kitchenware as well, so just to make sure you check out there before you start buying firsthand. So if you get into the situation where you have run out of money, you can look for a part-time job at all the places that we pointed out previously. You can revisit your budget to make sure that you don't have any additional spending that's bringing you below your budget. You can explore the options with your family and supporters if you're able to borrow any money, but also within the university we do have a discretionary fund that you can apply for. And if you have any difficulties, please contact the Advice Place for information on emergency loans. This is just to reiterate the point that you should never go to a payday lender. Often the APR in these loans are upwards of 1,000% and you'll end up paying it back over a long time. So please come talk to the Advice Place if you have any financial difficulties. So funding. If you have a delayed loan, as a student, money and funding is another topic that you might have questions on. So if you're running out of money or your funding's delayed, the Advice Place can give you an emergency loan and can also help you resolve funding or issues or benefit problems. So they can speak to your funding body, if it was SAS or the Student Finance UK, and they can resolve any issues that may have occurred. If your financial situation has been affected by COVID, for UK students, you can resubmit your SAS or student loan applications, moving away from your parents' earnings in 2019 and take into consideration their earnings in 2020 if that's been affected. For UK and international students, there is also the hardship and discretionary funding, which you can apply for if you are financially struggling. So they will take into consideration your earnings, your spendings, and if you're kind of falling below what you need in order to be a student. So you can get awards from £100 to £4,000. You can apply for it as many times as you want throughout the year, and you will be awarded it. You can be awarded it twice a year in each semester. There are also a specific portion of this hardship fund has been ring fenced for postgraduate research and postgraduate taught students. So not to worry, you will not be penalised because you are a PG student. There definitely is a section of this ring fenced. And if that's not enough, we know that many of our students experience these concerns, and we would recommend that students look at this situation on our pages. The Advice Place has pages on budgeting, employment, and extra funding. We would also encourage you to make contact with a member of our welfare team who will be able to look at your situation in full and help you explore all of these ways, both in increasing your amount of funding that you have and ways that you can make the best of the resources that you have. So here are some of the money saving resources that we've spoken about throughout the presentation. So some good budgeting spreadsheets. Often you're able to download like an Edexcel spreadsheet, and you put in the amount of money that you have and it just does it automatically. So hopefully when you put all of that in, there will not be a minus beside that final figure. But also remember to revisit your budgets, especially if things are looking a little different in reality. You have budgeting apps that are outloaded there, and there's also Monzo, which is an international card that you can use, and they're able to keep track of your finances and also have saving pots. For general advice, there are lots of websites that give money saving expert advice, but also all of this advice is also found on our Advice Place with the Students Association. And some budget cooking is Eat Well for Less on the BBC website and the Guardian recipes. They have lots of student friendly recipes that are very, very good and very cost effective. So if you need to contact anyone about financial issues or even anything other, so academic issues, housing issues, and you need confidential impartial advice from trained advisors, please contact advice@usa.ed.ac.uk. You can phone them, you can contact them by email, and they will hopefully be able to offer you an appointment on MS Teams, on phone, respond to your queries on email, and where appropriate, you may be able to get an in-person appointment in their offices in Potter Row.